Hello friends, this is Satvinder from Sukhmani Immigration Services, Brampton, Canada. I'm a regulated and licensed Canadian immigration consultant. Today very excited because today I'm sharing a good news with you. And what is this good news? I'll share in detail with you. But before that, a request, if you have not subscribed to the channel so far, please consider subscribing. We talk a lot about Canadian immigration news, update, tips and tricks on this channel. If you like the video, please share it with your family and friends. And please also press the bell icon so that this video comes to you as soon as we upload. So without further delay, let's get started on today's good news. So this good news is for whom? This good news is for, I guess, you got it, right? You got it. This good news is for truck drivers. So recently, knock code change happened, and with that changes, truck drivers got a good news. So not just the truck drivers, there are some other professions also, but I am going to talk only about the truck drivers today. So the changes in express entry happened, and these changes happened resulting in the old knock code was 7511, and this was version 2016. The new knock code, which is version 2021, is 73300. So this is the knock code for truck drivers. So on 16th November, 16 new professions are added. 16th November, 16 new professions are added to the express entry. And out of those professions, one profession was truck driving. So what has happened because of this? So earlier, the truck driving was in Knock C. When it was in Knock C, right, it was not eligible for express entry. Only O, A and B are eligible. Knock C was not eligible. So truck driving was in Knock C and it was not eligible for express entry. Now it has become eligible for express entry, and people who are on the Knock C and working here in Canada, they cannot sponsor their families. So now they can sponsor their families. They can bring here their spouses, their kids to Canada. So that's the one big change. They can sponsor their families and can bring their families here in Canada, which they were not able to do earlier. And now truck driving is in tier 3. And in tier 3 you are allowed to make profile in express entry. So this is a big change which has happened. So before I explain this, right, I'll tell you, this was the news, but this news was twisted and trampled. So it was not provided with the right form of information. So now what I'm going to do is, I am going to tell you the information in a very easy to understand way with the help of scenarios. So that this entire confusion goes away. So let's look at the 3 scenarios. The first case, let me tell you, the truck driving could be, somebody who can be a PR or who is a Canadian citizen can drive truck, but he is already having an immigration status. So we don't consider him, right? So we are considering people who are inside Canada and who are outside Canada. So inside Canada could be a person who is on a work permit, and inside Canada could be a person who is on a visitor visa. So basically simple 3 scenarios: work permit scenario, visitor visa scenario, and outside Canada scenario. These are the simple 3 scenarios. So the information, as I said, is so much distorted and a lot of prejudice was added to the information. So today I'm sharing this information to you in an easy to understand way. So let us look at these scenarios one by one, and you should be fitting into at least one of this. So let me start with the work permit first. So scenario 1, work permit. So work permit, most of the cases in work permit are PGWP, Postgraduate work permit. Postgraduate work permit, students who come here in Canada, they study, and then during their studies they get G license or AZ license also, and later when they finish the study, they enter the profession of truck driving. So a PGWP is postgraduate work permit is one scenario. The second scenario could be that some people who have got the work permit, LMIA based work permit, and they are working here on work permit. So that could be the second scenario. There can be other scenarios, but I am not considering that. For example, if someone, his wife is studying here, right, and he got sponsored, so he is on a spousal open work permit. So there is no point. He cannot be a primary applicant. His wife is a primary applicant. So even if he is driving a truck, it doesn't make a difference to him. He cannot do anything. So that is why I am considering only two scenarios: postgraduate work permit and LMIA based work permit. So you can apply under express entry, and in express entry there are two gates. The first gate is 6 selection factor. You have to have 67 points. If you get 67 points out of 100 on 6 factors, there are 6 factors, so which is language, age, education. So out of all these 6 factors, if you get 67 points, then you are eligible to make a profile in express entry, and you can put your file under Canadian experience class. You can put your profile under federal skill trade or PNP linked express entry. So PNP is without express entry and with express entry. So this PNP which we are talking is with express entry, where you have the profile in express entry. So I will talk about the other one also, so just wait for that too. So now the thing is that I get so many questions, because in truck driving there are two scenarios. Scenario one is that you make an incorporation, and in that incorporation you are the owner of that incorporation and you drive truck. If this is the scenario, I got so many calls on this. So if this is the scenario, then you are not eligible. Let me repeat. If the scenario is that you have made an incorporation and to save the tax, you are not eligible if you are using incorporation way of trucking. You are eligible only to show your experience if you are driving on SIN number, social insurance number, and you are employed, you are getting T4s and payrolls from a company. If this is the scenario, yes, you are eligible, but if incorporation, no, you are not eligible. So there is a lot of confusion. So first step is, let me clarify that confusion. Second, so of course you can make a profile into express entry, right? There is a lot of hype which is created that you can make a profile in federal skill trade also. Yes, you can make a profile in federal skill trade, right? And what you need to make a profile in federal skill trade? So there is a lot of hype created, right? You need just 3.5 in reading, 4 in writing, and 5 each in listening and speaking, which is correct. I don't deny that, right? And you need 2 years of experience, which is also correct, in last 5 years. And you need grade 12, which is also correct. Similarly, you can make a profile also in a CEC also, under CEC category also, Canadian experience class. But my question is, by making profile in express entry, can you get PR? What's your answer? My answer is no. By making a profile in express entry, you cannot get PR. Why? Because CRS is high. The CRS score currently is hovering around 492. You will not be able to make that score. So that is the challenge. So next question is, who should be the person who should make express entry profile? Who is a good candidate for express entry under trucking? So I would say a person who has trucking experience, along with he is also having a ECA, he is a graduate, he is having a bachelor's in his hand. His VAS is showing, actually VAS is the organization, ECA is the right term, Education Credential Assessment. So his ECA is showing graduate, bachelor's degree, 3 years. That is minimum, right? He has the capability to take 6, to get 6 in each band, each category, listening, speaking, reading, writing. So then age, he should be less than 35 years. And if married, then spouse should be graduate. So this is the right candidate for express entry. So, you will see so many videos on TikTok, on YouTube. Oh, you can make a profile in express entry. Yes, you can make a profile. It's not about making a profile in express entry. It is about getting a PR. So making a profile in express entry is something different. Getting a PR is different, right? So scenario 1. Now you will say, then if I am above the age of 35, I am not a graduate, what should I do? I'll tell you. So if you are above the age of 35, you are having a education which is, you are not graduate and you are having IELTS score which is less than 6, then what should you do? Then you should go for PNP. This PNP is not express entry linked. This is without express entry. So now there in PNP also you have choices like New Brunswick. You have choice like SINP, Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. You have choices under Nova Scotia. You have Prince Edward Island, right? You have choices under Yukon Nominee Program. I have intentionally not put Ontario and BC because Ontario and BC have a higher points grid. So if you are in this category, I would suggest, if you are in Ontario, moving out of Ontario to another province is good option. So this is my suggestion to you. Now we have covered the scenario 1, which is work permit holders. Now let's move on to scenario 2, which is visitor visa. So I have a complete video on how to convert your visitor visa to work permit. So if you have not watched that, you can see that video. So visitor visa to work permit you can convert using LMIA. If you get LMIA, then you can convert your visitor visa to work permit. So this will provide you with the closed work permit. So again, mind it, closed is a very important word because it is an employer specific. You have to work for that employer. You cannot switch employers, right? So what happens? Okay, working is fine, but driving is a licensed profession. You need to have a license, particularly driving a 53-foot plus truck, big truck, 53-foot plus. So for that, you need AZ license. So that AZ license, many people who come to Ontario particularly, so Ontario allows the visitor to get AZ license. So they come here during their 6 months duration, they get the AZ license. And once they get the AZ license, then they look for LMIA. So this is one option. Sometimes people who come here, they have not yet got their AZ license because the problem is the cost. The cost is very high. Cost of getting a license, the truck license, is not less than 5,000 to 7,000 Canadian dollars. So 5,000 to 7,000 Canadian dollars, not everyone has it. So, but he wants to come into that profession. So there are many trucking companies which say that, you know what, we will bear the burden of your fees, but you have to work for us. So they are ready to pay for your driving school fees. So the advantage of this is that you can sponsor your families once you are here in Ontario on a LMIA based work permit. So this is the option for the visitor visa who are here in Canada. Now moving on to option 3, which is people who are outside Canada. So not every truck driving experience is acceptable in Canada. So countries or places, I would say, which are acceptable are Middle East, Dubai, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Russia. If you have a driving experience of these particular places, then this experience is acceptable and you should have at least grade 12 plus 2 years of experience in these countries. So if you have that, then you have two options. The one option is that where you are sitting, in whichever home country you are sitting, from that home country you can apply LMIA based work permit, or from that home country itself you can file express entry based on your details. So as I always say, in immigration there is nothing like one size fits all. You are unique, your profile is unique, your background is unique, your case is unique. So if you want to discuss your case, you can book an appointment with us. Our office is located in Brampton and our email ID and phone numbers, everything is shared right here with you. Very important thing. If still you have not subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing, and lots of hard work and effort is involved in bringing these type of informative and knowledgeable videos to you. So thank you very much for watching the video. Thanks.